Welcome to Kitchen Chemistry with Essential Wholesale and Labs. I'm Tinica, and today I'm going to show you how to make a matcha thigh smoothing wrap. We're going to make a gel out of this. It's going to be really fun. You can follow along by clicking the More button directly below the video, and you can see the whole recipe, and you can buy the kit there as well. So let's go ahead and get started. You'll need a few ingredients. You'll need matcha powder, Roman Chamomile Distillate, Opti MSM, Xanthan Gum, and finally you'll need to preserve it. I chose to preserve with OptiMSM. Okay, so the first thing that we have to do is, of course, heat our water phase so that we can make a nice gel. So we're just going to put this on here, and we're going to turn the heat up, and we're going to heat this up to about 120 to 130 degrees Fahrenheit. Okay, so we've got our water phase heated up, and now we're just going to go ahead and add our ingredients. The first thing that I want to add is the matcha powder. I'm just going to go ahead and get that right in there. So pretty. And the reason that I'm adding the matcha first is that I want to see how, if and how the matcha thickens the water. Maybe it won't at all, maybe it will. But this is kind of the fun of experimenting and making your own stuff. Okay, I know that seems like a lot of matcha, but we want the highest caffeine content possible, which is why I chose matcha, so that we get a lot of caffeine for our thigh smoothing wrap. For this, I'm just gonna kind of mix it in there. Oh yeah, okay, it doesn't look like it's having any effect on the viscosity of the water, but it's sticking to the spoon. Okay, there we go. That's a little better. Let's try to get it off the sides there. Okay. Oh my gosh, I love the smell of matcha so much. And it kind of goes nicely with the chamomile too. Okay. Now I'm going to go ahead and take my mixer and just mix that right up. Maybe turn it down a little. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my Opti MSM. I think I am. There we go. All right. So the MSM, the reason that we're putting MSM in there is because MSM helps other ingredients absorb better. So we want as much caffeine as possible to go right to the area we want it to. So we're going to use some MSM to help that happen. Now finally, before I add the preservative, I'm going to thicken this up so that it's easy to apply with a little xanthan gum. So xanthan gum is an interesting ingredient. You can disperse it in glycerin to prevent fish eyes from forming, or you can gently sprinkle it while you're mixing to make a gel, and make sure that you're mixing the whole time and that you're just sprinkling the xanthan gum in there so that it hydrates and doesn't form those clumpy balls. So we're going to just go ahead and turn our mixer up and sprinkle it in there. Okay, you can see we have a nice gel-like consistency. Now if you want it to be a little bit more viscous, you can simply add more xanthan gum. And I can show you how to do that actually. I think we should make this a little bit more viscous. Okay, so because I already wrote my recipe and I didn't add enough xanthan gum, or enough for me, and I want it to be a little bit thicker, I need to add more xanthan gum. So let's go through the process of how to make a modification to your recipe on the fly. Okay, so I know I need to add more xanthan gum because I want a little bit thicker gel. So I put some xanthan gum in a container. I didn't weigh it. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to put my container on the scale, and then I'm going to tear the scale to 0. And then I'm going to start mixing in some xanthan gum until I reach the amount that I need. So now that I know this is teared at 0, I can take the gum off of the scale, and of course it's going to show me a negative amount there, which is just fine. I'm going to now try not to spill everything is what I'm going to try to do. Wow, butterfingers. Okay, so I'm going to just take a little bit of xanthan gum and just mix it in until I get the thickness that I want. I think I want a little bit more. I kind of want this to be really thick so I can apply a nice thick layer. There we go. Now we're getting somewhere. Maybe just even a little bit more. I'm gonna have to turn my mixer up now. It's getting thick. Okay, now I've got this great thick gel that I can really layer on when I apply it. All right, I'm really happy with that. So now I'm going to put my xanthan gum back on the scale, and it looks like I've used 0.0025 pounds. You may not need a scale that goes out that far. I recommend that you get a scale that goes to at least 4 decimal points out. So we're going to write down that we added 0.0025 xanthan to our recipe so that when we want to recreate this, we know exactly what we need to do. Okay, so now that I know that I've added 0.0025 xanthan and I have the thickness that I want, I have my recipe card, and I'm going to go ahead and add that right onto my card so that I know exactly how to modify my recipe. So next time when I make this, it's exactly what I want. And this is a method that is really easy to do when you're making modifications. And you always want to record when you modify something because you may create the most lovely, beautiful thing and you never can recreate it. And yes, that's happened to me before. I learned my lesson. So now I write everything down. And the final step is, of course, to add the preservative. So I'm going to go ahead and push my scale out of the way so I have more room here. And put my mixer back together. There we go. Okay. And I'm going to grab my Opti MSM and just dump it right in there. And blend it in. I don't leave my mixer in my beaker anymore. I had a pretty bad accident and spilled lotion everywhere, so I learned my lesson there too. Okay, now that you've made your gel and it's nice and thick and lovely, and it's everything you wanted it to be, you can put it in your own packaging, of course, and one thing that I strongly recommend is that you test your product for stability and also for preservative efficacy. So we use the right amount of Optifen Plus. It should be well preserved. However, because we're using so much matcha, it may still grow bacteria. So we always want to either send it out to a third-party lab for micro testing or do in-house testing. So we will be doing Live in the Lab on Facebook. If you want to join us there and check out our videos on Facebook, I will walk us through stability and micro testing. So join us there if you'd like. Otherwise, feel free to click the link below and purchase the kit to make this lovely matcha thigh smoothing gel. And thanks for joining us.